and ways to grow a reading rainbow. I can be anything. Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
Oh, hey there. I was just reading a little bit about child psychology, specifically about Vygotsky. One of the most important things to Vygotsky is that educators are more facilitators. It's really important that we, as educators, find our students' zone of proximal development. That's the area in which children can no longer learn on their own, but when guided, can learn even more. This is where students learn the most, and as educators, it's our job to help them find this. We can do this in the classroom by using scaffolding. Vygotsky thinks this is one of the primary ways to help students reach and exceed their zone of proximal development. This can be done with things around the classroom or cues from the teacher. This is the best way to help students learn using all of these various things as scaffolding.
What kind of hunter are you anyway, princess? You almost got yourself killed out there.
What?
You wouldn't last 3 days on your own.
Oh, and I suppose you could teach me?
Oh, yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Gotcha!
You're still breathing too hard. Relax. Feel the earth under your paws so it doesn't shift and make noise.
Good morning. Surprised you, huh?
So as we can see in Lion King 2, the female lion had difficulties learning how to hunt, but through proper scaffolding and education, the male lion was able to better assist her to achieving those goals herself. She was lacking in her zone of proximal development, but with proper education, she was able to succeed.
I'll read you a story, and then let's make believe.
So my example of Vygotsky's practice being used in a classroom was with my practicum. When I went to Gordon Vaughn's classroom, every inch of the wall was covered in something to help the students. On the back of the wall were math words, problems, things that would help them with that. Sides of the walls had English literature problems, words, phrases that would help them think of things they'd already learned. Science on the other walls. Everywhere a kid could look, every inch of wall had something on it that would help them succeed. This was scaffolding put into practice, and it was great to see it being used and actually see how much it benefited children. Every time they needed to do a test or just in their day-to-day work, they could look around and they could see the things that they were learning posted on the walls for them.
Oh, hey, didn't notice you there. So, what do we know about Albert Bandura and his social learning theory? Well, like most smart psychologists, Albert Bandura disagreed with Skinner's strict focus on observable behavior. When Bandura read Skinner's theories, he was definitely thinking, there's got to be more than this.
More than this, you know there's nothing more than this.
Bandura argued that learning is not purely behavioral. It is a cognitive process that takes place in social contexts. Kids learn a lot just by observing behavior around them. Just ask this baby.
Cause if you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Don't be mad what you see, I see on it. If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Oh.
Social learning theory assumes that learning can occur by observing a behavior and by observing the consequences of other people's behavior. So how should this knowledge impact the way we teach? Well, as teachers, we have to make sure that we're positive role models for our students. So realistically, in the classroom, if we act inappropriately, students will see that and act inappropriately as well.
Goddamn stick!
Students look to teachers for positive models of appropriate behavior.
I'll read you a story, and then let's make believe.
So let's take a look now at Bandura's social learning theory and how it would look like in the classroom with a story time teacher's edition of Good Idea, Bad Idea.
It's time for another good idea, bad idea. Good idea.
Teacher reinforces good behavior for students to model. Okay, unusually large students today, we're going to be working on rhyming. So let's see if you guys can come up with a word that rhymes with class. Pat.
Mass.
Yeah, Adam.
Glass.
Very good.
Ass!
Get serious.
Adam, Pat, thank you very much for having appropriate answers.
Bad idea.
Teacher reinforces bad behavior through role modeling. Okay, kids, today we're going to be learning about rhyming. Let's see if you can come up with some words that rhyme with class. Adam.
Glass.
Very good. Pat.
Mass.
Ass!
Woo-hoo!
Yeah!
Okay.
It's like a bum.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's my turn. Let's talk about Alfie.
Alfie from the crowd at the 11-minute mark. Up the
Not that Alfie. Alfie Cohn.
Alfie.
Alfie Cohn believed that when we work for a reward, we do exactly what it takes to get it, and no more than necessary. If a reward is expected or assumed, and the student doesn't obtain that reward, then it acts as a punishment. Alfie Cohn believed in learning for the sake of learning, rather than learning for the sake of rewards. Alfie Cohn believed that rewards bought one thing: temporary compliance. In the long run, rewards are not successful whatsoever. The more you reward someone with something, the more they lose interest in what they're doing to get that reward. The students lose interest in the learning itself because they're doing whatever it takes to get that reward. He believed that students shouldn't be rewarded for sharing. So if Billy shared his chocolate bar with Susie, his teacher would reward him for the sharing. Alfie believed that the sharing should be the reward. He believed that our job as teachers is to teach the students how to learn and the value of learning rather than bribing our students to learn.
Explain how this works. If these were regular tests, what I would do is I would find the smartest students, Maya, and I would mark hers first.
Right.
Then I'd use that as my answer key. But these are essay questions. Now, if I were to read these, it would take forever. So I don't. So I look at their mark going into it. Okay, like Maya, where's Maya? Has the highest mark in the class. There she is. So that's my answer key.
Don't you already know the answers?
Sometimes theirs are better. I gotta give her a good mark, a couple circles, and then sometimes too vague.
Right.
That way I don't have to give her 100.
Yeah,
They only look
keep
at
it
the
realistic.
mark. 96. I give her a little more than she has going in. That way she won't come back and
Right.
challenge me. Okay?
It's a good
Come on.
system.
Okay, here's Mike. Now, Mike, he's got a 62.
You should give him an 80.
Give
That'll
him an
make
80.
his day.
Make his day.
Right.
Okay. And he goes home. His parents are excited. I like that. Finally.
Like you've been rooting for him the whole
Yeah,
time.
about
Right.
time. Thank you.
Good.
What Mr. D is doing here is he's completely rewarding the work with grades and not looking at the content whatsoever. He's rewarding the students based on the abilities that he thinks they can do rather than what they're performing on the paper. So he's going against everything that Alfie Cohn suggests. Rewards, or grades in this case, causes school to be about doing what is necessary and not about playing with ideas or taking intellectual risks.
I'll read you a story, and then let's make believe.
Growing up in school, grades were very important to me. That was definitely the only reason I tried, because I wanted to get good grades to impress my parents. So I guess from my personal experience, my schooling revolved around rewards completely. I definitely didn't go to school to learn for the sake of learning. I thought grades were more important because grades determined whether you would be successful or not. So I definitely had a blurred or skewed vision of what was more important in school between grades and learning.
According to William Glasser, students are motivated by their psychological needs, such as belonging, power, freedom, and fun. In a classroom setting, when a student misbehaves, they are misbehaving to satisfy their need for power or in a classroom setting, that is attention. By giving students excessive attention for negative behavior, we are satisfying their need for power because they're commanding more of our attention. Just as when an engaged student answers a question in class, a positive acceptance or reply from the teacher will satisfy that student's need for power or attention. Providing students with choices fulfills their need for power because they are more in control of their own destiny. When we direct students to complete tasks or assignments, we are depriving them of their need for this sense of power. Additionally, creating a fun picture of learning is the key to maximizing what a student gets out of school. How do we create a fun picture of learning? If it doesn't already exist within a student's mind, we must create a relationship between fun and learning. We have to figure out what interests our students and create lessons that touch on these interests. These interests are what will motivate students to learn. William Glasser's ideal learning environment would focus on making lessons and content personal for students, giving them a degree of power.
For starters, we're making sex education more fun.
Vagina Junction, what's your function?
Taking in sperm and spitting out babies. And our schools are the safest around.
I'll read you a story, and then let's make believe.
I strongly believe in the importance of making learning fun. One personal example that I have is a student of mine who was having difficulty with subtraction and addition. So my solution to that, my idea to make learning fun for him was to play darts and use the game of darts as a way to practice subtraction and addition, starting with 501 and counting down. The student's interest in math greatly increased. He was having fun. He was getting much better at mental math. But unfortunately, he went home and told his mother that we were playing darts in class. This resulted in a lost opportunity for fun student engagement. For some, the stereotypical definition of learning is sitting down, watching a lesson, and completing work in a textbook. However, if you can find a game like darts to make something like math fun, you will greatly increase your students' engagement and their acquisition of knowledge.
Only child.